Joining us, Mr. Insurance, Scott Schultz, back on the program.
Hello.
Schultzy, you sit in section 123 for the games. How hot was it for you on Saturday?
It was perfect. I had some tickets given to me by a friend who shall remain nameless. But man, they were fantastic seats right above the tunnel. I took my brother-in-law and my niece and my daughter, and we had a great time. A little shaky there in the first quarter. We saw some zone coverages that got exposed, and we were like, I was kind of getting a little antsy. But man, did they roll back and dominate.
You talk about, them maybe playing a little bit of a soft zone and there's always the scripted plays too, right? On both sides. Like everything's scripted, right? What surprises you in the game as you go along?
The biggest thing that surprises me and I respect the most is, especially from my playing days, is the Riders seemingly, like, we're 8-1. That's consistent, but how they've won has not been consistent. They have switched plans. They have made adjustments. They have figured things out in the game, in the now. And I got goosebumps right now. Like when I see that, that's what draws me back to 2007. That's what draws me back to the trajectory where this team is headed.
Is that the sign of a good team or a championship team that is able to kind of put everything aside, be like, all right, left turn, we're doing this because this is what we have to do to win?
I don't know about the championship moniker there, but it's what good teams do. Like when you got a good team, it's the team that can figure things out, can do things on the fly, that has confidence to do those things. Bad teams, they're coquettish. They don't want to make changes. They want to stick with what they're doing. Those kinds of things where I think the Riders have all this confidence. They've got relatively good health. They've got great coaching, and they're confident hey, we're going to make this change. We're going to make this adjustment, and they believe in their guys to go out there and do it. And that's what I think the fan base is seeing.
Do you see any adjustments, maybe the first half of the game that the Riders make?
I like what you guys said. It's kind of like you come out, it's the first quarter, some stuff, how much of that is scripted? We have a plan, we want to go do this. And then, the defenses are doing the same thing. So it really is the ability to sit back and have your entire defensive playbook available to you. And then you're like, oh, they're doing this. Oh, we're going to checkmate that. Oh, now they switched to this. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do. And it's that confidence in their guys that they're able to switch through these defenses and figure things out.
So, Scott, when you played, every once in a while, somebody's got to go out there and make a play and change the game. And it seemed as soon as the pressure got to Bo Levi and they got him down once, that's when the floodgates opened. And he was flustered, and it seemed everything went out the window. The short passes, the long passes, the confidence. He was patting the ball, happy feet. And as a defender, to be the guy that starts the wave, that's got to be a good feeling, because Hamilton just was not the same team. They didn't look like a team that won 6 or 7 games on Saturday once the Riders started to make mistakes.
Richie Hall, great defensive coordinator, lots of success in this league as a player and as a coach. He used to say, pressure either busts pipes or makes diamonds, right? And it's just that ability of these guys to I don't know. Their confidence is high. And I just think their culture, you can see it coming through. Like, they're not giving up on things. They're not sulking if they get a setback. They are going to the sideline. They're retooling, and they're like chomping at the bit to get back on the field and apply what fix they've got. So it's just super exciting to watch.
I'm curious to ask Darian about this later too, Maz. So if I forget, remind me. But Schultz, a lot of times, and it doesn't matter any sport, football, hockey, basketball, whatever, is if you got a coaching staff that seems to be all in, like they're all as one. There's not, we've seen it before where this coach won't get along with that coach, and there's just tension there. So the Riders obviously have that. Like, that is confident. And then you have the high IQ football players that are complementing it, isn't it? Is that correct, do you think?
I'm with it. Like I said, I'm still plugged into the team, but I don't know exactly what they're thinking. I don't get to have any conversations, and I get to hear some things here and there. But from what I see, you look at what Mace is doing from his player experience, his coaching experience. It seems what he's allowing these guys to do is giving his coaches the autonomy to bring their talents and their skill level to the table. Now, I'm sure that when things need to be pulled back or things need to go in the direction that Mace wants them to go in, he certainly does that. But it just really seems that they've got the autonomy to really extract the explicit talents from these coaches. And then it's trickling down into the players. The confidence is built and you're 8-1. Like this is what is the beauty of sport. This is what makes guys excited and why we put so much time in.
Do we as the average fan not understand how special it is that Micah Johnson can still be playing football at a high level at the age he's at? Because it's not an easy game. Like, I look at him and I'm like, and same with Derek Moncrief from the Stamps. I'm like, are you guys 25? Because the seasons you're having, you would never know their age when you see the results they're getting.
I retired at 31, and you know, to see the success that guy is having is unbelievable. And then what I saw yesterday is, again, that defensive line unit working together. They're getting pressure. You had some old school sacks. Like, you saw defensive tackles coming off of blocks, and because it was bracketed so nicely on the edges, he's got nowhere to go, and it's right into his arms. All you got to do is tackle the guy. Beautiful sacks. I think we had 5 or 6 sacks for the game. It's just to see those guys that are veterans and they're healthy and they're clicking. You can really see the experience get kind of sprinkled in to what they're doing out there. Where okay, they've got plays to do, they've got blitzes on, they're doing this, but it's those guys' experience that is allowing them to react and fill in and make the big plays that they're making.
What did you see defensively that the Riders did on Lawler, Smith, the whole crew there? I personally, I love Tavon Campbell. Like, I'm like, it's almost like Revis Island backed my Patriots that year. It's like, all right, let Revis play on anybody and we'll figure it out from there. What do you see in there, Schultz?
You know what? I just see it as a defensive whole. Like, you know, you would go into a game and it's like, okay, what are they good at? Well, the quarterback can throw, he can spread the ball around, and they've got a decent running game. So what do you got to do? You got to shut down one of those phases. It doesn't matter which one, you got to shut down one. And it looks like what they've been able to do is find whatever strength the team is having, they attack it, and then when that team has to adjust or that team has to come off of the post and do something else, it's not as comfortable or relevant for them, and then we're making the big plays on defense. So it's spread around. I don't think there's any one group that is more special than the other out there. I really think that it's 12 guys, and it's just you're seeing something pretty special right now. I just looked on the stats. I think they're still close in the low or the mid 60s for yards against the run. It's insane.
Maz, hold on. Let's run that clip. If you're watching the stream, the clip on this interception again, Campbell, and it's the second one that you see, right? Because over the top we got Fields there, and Bo, he's trying to throw that dart into, you coach football, Schultz, right? Into that, I call it the swimming pool to the kids. Yep. Like in between, put it into the pool. But A, it was windy. B, things aren't going that well for you. And then you got the athleticism of Campbell. Like, look how he can get, and then he gets up for it, right? Like, that is a hard throw anytime if you're in a controlled, environment. He's trying to do it in Sasky. Things are down. And that it's the mental game too. Like, you got, like, let's be honest, the Riders are in the kitchen of everybody. Yeah.
Let's not forget, Desperation is a stinky Cologne, and you could smell the desperation on those plays. He's just trying to get something, anything to work. And look, he forces it into a window it doesn't belong, and we come up with the ball.
Despite them being the poster boys for Desperation Cologne, Curtis, can you make up a quick graphic of that? Maybe Bo Levi. Let's do black and white. I want an underwear like a Calvin Klein shot. I want kind of that brownish tinge. Let's do that. But so, although it was 29-9 and the Riders have won some dominant games, is Hamilton still the best team in the East, in your opinion? They were missing their top 3 defenders on Saturday. A lot of Rider fans, like Stavros Kazantonis, if he's playing safety back there, he patrols the middle like none other in the CFL these days. He would have been a factor. And so is Hamilton? They didn't win, but are they still the best in the East?
I got to say, like, they are the best in the East, but what is that saying?
I know.
They're battling. They're trying to get their product aligned with what their coaches want to get out of it. But again, they're 5-5 or whatever they're at, and
6-4.
They are the best. But what scares me is the West is like we're far and away, the leaders in wins. But I mean, any one of these teams. It's going to be a tough night out when it gets down to playoff time.
We should separate. Just kidding. But Montreal's really banged up, though, too. Let's keep in mind.
Yeah.
And now they're losing another quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't know what to make of the East, to be honest. Hamilton, Montreal, and then who's going to shift over there? But to Schultz's point, it's like, then BC, they're starting to throw it around the park.
BC's in the wild card right now. BC's in second place in the East. And BC, that offense is starting to come around. And then Farhan, who we had on from TSN on Friday, said, if the D-line ever starts doing something and Matthew Betts starts earning his paycheck, I'm saying that Farhan didn't. But then on Saturday, Betts was in the game. Betts got a couple of sacks. He was in there. Their D-line came to play, and BC starts to look like, and they're learning how to play. And keep in mind, Buck Pierce is a brand new coach with a new system. They're 10 games in. They're getting to pick it up. Schultz, how easy is it to learn a brand new head coaching system as a player? It takes a while, doesn't it?
It's difficult. There's no way around it. Like, you got to have some exceptional players and people around you to make that work. And it's tough slugging. And think back to the Riders and how many, in the last few years, and we've had our struggles, but we've had those areas of upswings. And then then the losses come, like, it's tough. Like, it is tough to break those. And it's a cultural thing, meaning the teams and the coaching and the players, it all has to come together. And it's come together for the Riders right now. It's too early to say this. I mean, for looking at the playoffs, but I mean, that's where it makes you think about maybe it should be the top 6 teams, and maybe it should, because you look at one conference that's struggling and is weak. Where do you go with that?
It should be one conference top 6, one conference of 9, top 6 make the playoffs. Because why wouldn't I? If I'm the new commissioner of the CFL, I was thinking about this yesterday when I was unloading the dishwasher. Not because the kids didn't listen to me after I asked them 3 times. Yes. But I was like, why wouldn't you, if I'm the commissioner of the CFL, and let's take the Riders and Bombers as an example with that, the fan bases, why wouldn't you want to have a scenario where they could play in the Grey Cup? That isn't some sort of like backdoor East End that you could get the interest and the eyeballs along with the good football teams. Like, why wouldn't you want that if you're running this league?
100%. And again, dare to dream, but let's focus on what's important now, and that is Calgary. And nobody likes Calgary for sure. They have always have that the reek of just front running and arrogance and all the good thig that go into a battle. So I can't wait to go out there and smash those hams. And I'll be watching on my 70-inch.
You're big into smells today. That's what we're getting from this. Rider legend Scott Schultz joining us here. You're in the insurance business, right?
Correct.
With Lakeview Insurance, you can stop in. He's always up for a coffee. You're in the insurance business. Do we need to look at some insurance when it comes to the kicking game?
Ooh. We better call Lloyd's of London and get a contract out, because listen, I like Lowther. I like Lowther.
Yeah.
He knows he's not where he needs to be right now. The coaches have said it. I don't think they're trying to dwell on it, because I mean, I've been with guys like Paul McCallum, Luca Conji. They're weird guys. You don't want to fluster them. If there's an opportunity for him to navigate through this and get stronger, he will. That's all that he wants. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough when everything else is in lockstep, and then something that should be automatic, 90% plus. We're down in the 70s, but I mean, we just take it game by game, and like you said, you just don't want it to creep up in a spot where you really need it.
Yeah, because the way we've been able to win games, we haven't needed our kicking game per se. But Scott, you can't go through a full 18 games and into the playoffs without having to rely on your kicker. Because if it comes down to a 52-yarder, us and the Bombers, I'm sorry, but Castillo is if you had to place money, like you're going to place a bet, you know who you'd go with. And it would be no different. I mean, think of it. Maybe we have a little sympathy because it is a kicker. My big fear, and this is on a personal level because people are nuts these days, Scott, you know this. Look what happened to McCallum before social media. Could you imagine now if something bad happened in the age of social media? Nobody deserves that. But people are crazy and they will go to no lengths to try and get their click, their like, or their point across. Like, oh, man. Oof.
You know, the one thing I will say is don't sleep on him because he's bounced back before. He sits among the most accurate kickers in our franchise's history. If you look at his history, it's just a matter of, guys go through rough spots. I mean, he seems to figure it out when it matters. And I don't know. I'm going to give it another 1 or 2 weeks before I get excited.
I would love to have him. Hey, Brett, the door's open. Come on here. Let's have not an interview at a field with a mic, and let's have just a sit down, chat. What's going through your head? How are you dealing? Yeah. It's got to be so difficult. And the bounce back thing, and that's what to be honest, I'm really on the fence with this one. And I know people really don't care, like, who am I? But I'm like, well, they got to bring in somebody, and but maybe they just let them work it through, because then there's the other thing too. It's like, you got to kind of know the stadiums you're going into in the CFL. Like, somebody called in, I love it though. Speaking of people are nuts, somebody called in the post-game show and said they should bring in Tucker from the Baltimore Ravens, who's not playing. Yeah, and I'm like, I love that craziness. We need more of that. Call into this show right now. But I'm like, I get it. We played the long game with him before, where he bounces back. But then, I leave the poker room after getting rinsed. I stop at the blackjack table, sometimes bounce back, but I don't want to do that all the time. I want to kind of play it safe.
Yeah, but I also come from that world when it was like the only thing that kids understand is when you mess with their cash, and so like I played almost 9 years in the CFL, and every year just terrified of who's gonna take your spot, who's pushing you, who are they bringing in? Oh shit, there's 3 cuts this week. They brought in 3 guys from the NFL. Like, that was constant. Yeah. I'm not saying that to cause undue emotional and mental stress on the guy.
That's pro sports. That's pro sports.
At some point, it's F or walk. Like, it's time to get things going.
You gotta perform. Your cologne's got to perform. Got to sell.
Got to be pungent.
Here it is. If you're watching this,
smell of pure testosterone.
Desperation. It's a stinky cologne. Schultz, can we just do this like more often, all the time? What are we plugging for insurance these days? Last time you were going to a parade.
I'll say this right now. All I'll say is Lakeview Insurance. Check us out, lakeviewinsurance.com. Contact one of our brokers, and we just want to wish a successful and bountiful harvest that is at our feet. And I know lots of farmers are going to be raring to get in the action here and start harvesting, and we just want everyone to be safe and healthy.
You got it. Thanks so much for doing this again. We'll catch up.
Awesome. Look forward to the next time, guys.
Jeez. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Chelsea.